What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh news for the TCG because today Konami decided to release and spoil some information for a new product that is going to be released later in this year, and that is the sequel to the first Yu-Gi's Legendary Decks box package thing, whatever it was, where you had 3 separate decks that were all Yu-Gi inspired from the different eras of the show's timeline, with Duelist Kingdom, Battle City, and I can't remember what the third one actually was, maybe the Millennium Arc? Can't remember. Ultimately, but still, you got 3 full 40 plus card Yu-Gi decks, and they were all inspired from a different era in the show's timeline. Well, apparently that concept was very, very good in terms of sales for Konami because they've decided to do a second one in the form of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legendary Decks 2. And this time, it's not going to be just Yu-Gi getting the spotlight with this little package deal. This time, they're actually doing a Kaiba deck, a Joey deck, and a Yu-Gi deck that are all inspired from the Duelist Kingdom Battle City era of the show. And it's going to be including good reprints from the characters in terms of cards they used, and it's going to be, just overall just little fun function decks that if you want to actually play against people with it and just have some fun, you actually can. But ultimately, the main thing I want to talk about in this video is the fact that we've had some OCG imports already confirmed with this first little wave of support, or information that Konami has given us, and that is we're going to be getting Eternal Soul, Dark Burning Attack, and Dark Burning Magic imported from the OCG to the TCG. Now, arguably the most important one in there being Eternal Soul. Now, Eternal Soul is a card that I personally did not want to actually put any form of, real thought or, merit into the Dark Magician new support coming out until we had some of these OCG imports confirmed, specifically Eternal Soul, because that was one of the original Dark Magician, new Dark Magician wave support cards that we did have an effect for, because it came out in the OCG way before the Dark Illusions, or at least a little bit before that. It wasn't a Dark Illusion support card, and the card is incredibly good for the deck, and it's arguably really necessary because of the fact that it allows you to play longer games. It allows your deck to just function better. It allows all of your threats to be really, really, actually, just very oppressive. There's all these different things that Eternal Soul allows you to do, and the fact that it's finally been announced for an import is very, very good. Now, we get the Dark Illusion sometime around, I think, mid-August, and this thing's release date is October 7th, 2016. So there will be a little bit of time between when we get the Dark Magician support and when we get Eternal Soul, so the deck will still be functional until that time, but it will not be, at its full potential until we get this, little package of the legendary decks released. Now, for those of you that don't know what Eternal Soul does and you've been living under a rock for a little while, Eternal Soul is a continuous trap card. Like I said, it was one of the first new Dark Magician support cards that was spoiled way back when the legacy support for Dark Magician just started being slowly revealed. And so Eternal Soul is a continuous trap card, and its effects are all Dark Magicians in your monster zone are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Sounds pretty damn good, right? If this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters you control. So it's kind of like a Fire King Island. It makes all your Dark Magicians into Towers equivalents, but if this card leaves the field, it destroys all of them. So there is that built-in weakness, that built-in out. So you have to be a little bit careful with this. But its 2 other effects that are triggerable during you and your opponent's turn are, you can activate one of these effects. First, special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard. Or its second effect, add 1 Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Eternal Soul once per turn. So, you can use it during your opponent's turn or your own turn, or both, in order to set up some plays in the form of, during your opponent's end phase. You could revive a Dark Magician from your graveyard or special summon 1 from your hands. And then during your turn, you'll be able to add Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives to either Raigeki your opponent or Heavy Storm them. So all of these different things just kind of function well with this card in terms of just allowing you to just get free cards and keep free board presence moving. All these different things are very, very pivotal in your game plan, because the Dark Magician deck's main strength is its ability to manipulate cards, as well as its ability to play on your opponent's turn. That's the main entire appeal of the deck, is just how much you play the game on your opponent's turn, using cards like Dark Magic Circle, Magician's Navigate, Eternal Soul, all these different things. So it ultimately just ends up working out really well for the deck that this card is going to be coming out. Now, there is going to be a little bit of a period of time, about a month and a half, between the Dark Magician support coming out in the Dark Illusions and the Legendary Deck set dropping, giving us Eternal Soul. So there is going to be a little bit of time, but like I said, the deck will then be functioning at its full potential strength from there on forward. But another thing I want to discuss before I end this video is the fact that this includes some Kaiba cards. And so the fact that this thing is already confirmed to have some OCG imports in it, in the form of Eternal Soul, Dark Burning Attack, and Dark Burning Magic, we could have some imports for the Kaiba deck as well, which thus this gives us another set that is releasing before the end of this year that could potentially give us Blue Eyes alternative White Dragon in it, as well as some reprints of cards that have kind of fluctuated in price up on the high end, like Melody of Awakening Dragon and stuff like that. These could be like places where these cards get reprinted. Card of Demise could be reprinted in this set, a bunch of different things like that. But the main thing is that we have 3 sets between now and the end of the year. The movie pack that comes out in late July, this set in October, and then Dragons of Legend Unleashed that comes out sometime in fall. I can't remember the exact date. But that is 3 different sets that could potentially give us an OCG import of Blue Eyes alternative White Dragon. And that's actually very, very relevant, because that means we're almost guaranteed to get it sometime between now and the end of the year. It's going to be in one of those sets. There's no way they're going to print 3 sets that all focus around very prominent OCG imports or the character itself that uses these cards in the new movie and the show, and not import Blue Eyes alternative White Dragon for the TCG. They're just not going to do that. It doesn't make sense from a business standpoint for Konami to not make a decision that actually would just make them the most money. So there is that. But anyway, the main focus of this video is just to discuss that and mainly just talk about Eternal Soul, because this card is actually just really good, and I personally had been discounting the Dark Magician support until we got this card confirmed, because I personally really like this card and I couldn't see myself playing the deck without this card. But since it's been confirmed for an import, that no longer is an issue for me. So if I'm still playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The time this stuff comes around, you might be seeing me playing the deck. Or hell, I might even start playing the deck on my channel sooner rather than later, simply because I would like to test it. But my main focus mainly right now is focusing on testing for YCS Origins as well as Nationals, so those might go on the back burner for now until then. But other than that, as always guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Links are in the description to my Facebook and Twitch links if you want to go and check those out. That's what they're there for. Definitely feel free to do so. If you want to support me, clicking ads on my videos is the best way to support me. It helps out more than I can ever express. It would just be really cool of you if that's something you could take, the few seconds out of your day to do, especially if you have to disable an ad block to do so. It'd be really cool, really straight, and I'd appreciate it a lot. It would definitely help more than I can express, as I've already said. But other than that, let me know what you guys think about the Eternal Soul import, and if you're just really happy for it, if you think it's not a good time, if you think it's not necessary for the deck, all these sorts of things. Just leave those little opinions of yours in the comments down below, because I'm always curious to read them all the same. But other than that, that's it for this video, and as always guys, take care.